Pourquoi? Pourquoi tant de violence?
I don't know, because I never tried to understand it. But I will say this, that I believe art is an act of violence. I believe art is there to be violating. We all have our dysfunctions, and we all have our emotions, and we all have our joys and our pain in ourselves, and that's kind of how we interact. I'm a very expressive person. I'm a very, I've difficulty sometimes controlling my emotions. So art has been a great way to, I have a lot of darkness in me. I have a lot of violence in me, but I yet love humanity, and I love mankind, and I love children, I love animals, and I believe the world is a better place. So I have to unleash all of this in a productive way, and I believe art is the greatest thing God has ever given since women. And so, to me, I don't know why or where, but my life in terms of career, because I've only had one girlfriend who became my wife after many years, falls in two categories. That's correct. You can say the first category, the first part of my life, professional life, I started with Pusher, which was all about authenticity. That was my first film. I was obsessed with it. The cocaine was real. The violence had to be real. The camera had to fly around. Like I couldn't get enough of reality. And then, you know, when something works, you become a bit of a monster, because all your phobias are unleashed onto the world. And then I made my second film, which is called Bleeder, where I guess I went much more about myself than my first film, because my first film was a view of crime. But now I was going to make a movie about me. And it has great things in it, and it has things that are not great. But it worked financially well enough so I could continue. And then I wanted to make a third film. And this time I wanted to make a film that I would be accepted, that I would become part of this desire that we all have, our vanity, to be included in respectability, in the club of cinema creators that I would admire, or I would be literally jealous of when I was younger, that they had achieved this. And I failed miserably. It was a disaster, complete disaster. And I ended up owing my bank $1 million, which basically ruins your life, you know. And we had our first child, my wife and I. And so my life was pretty fucked. And so I'm in Copenhagen. I was the wonder child when I was with my first film, and now I was burned out, and I wasn't even 30. So I was like, well, I got to pay off my debt. So I very quickly was able to do 2 more Pusher films. And, you know, they became a lot better than the first one, because I had gotten better and smarter in what I do. So I was very lucky to complete it, and at the same time be financially safe again, you know, something that I could move on with my life. But I was still starting again from ground zero. So it was like almost like a closure. It was like a circle had come all around. And then I decided, I don't want to be in anyone's club. I don't want to be part of anything. I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in anyone's theories. I don't believe in other filmmakers. I don't believe in anyone's opinions. I just believe in me. So with the second part, should I answer that? Okay. I decided that I was going to make films purely that I wanted to see, that I wanted to be part of, and it wasn't even going to be that they were going to be all about me. I was going to be the center of attention in everything, and it was going to be an extension of my narcissism, megalomania, mother-infused Eurogenius sensibilities. I was going to be the canvas. Because fuck it, I didn't have any skills, really. I didn't really know a lot about techniques. I was pretty good at manipulating people in terms of actors. I could write a sentence. I'm not a great writer, but I don't know really very well techniques. My brain doesn't really comprehend it. So I was like, okay, being dyslexic is a fucking great thing. I thank God every day for making me stupid. Because of that, I have to switch my brain around and make it stronger for other things. I have to fight harder for certain things. So therefore, I am going to become the object. And I remember one time many years ago in my teenage years, I met Andy Warhol or Divine, people that had taken themselves as the object, as the essential finale of the art form, of the piece of work. And I said, I'm going to be that. So I suddenly just went back to all the people that had been in my teenage years that I had been part of, whether it was Joey Ramone or other extravagant, John Sex, which was a performance artist in New York, or even Michael Alec, who went off and killed people. That idea of you becoming the object was now my goal. And my first film was going to be an autobiography, and that became Bronson. And then the rest is history.
Mais Bronson n'est pas seulement un film autobiographique. Vous avez comme projet de rentrer dans le cerveau d'un psychopathe. Un peu comme Drive, d'ailleurs.
Well, that's because there's a sociopathic part of me. I know that. I mean, it's creativity is sociopathic in a way. I mean, to unleash whatever you have in your heart and believe that it's more important than food or water for the rest of the world is psychopathic. You know, it's so self-absorbed, but at the same time, that is the gasoline to create. But Bronson is about a man who creates his alter ego and gets lost in it. And in a way, I had decided to create my alter ego. I was an extension of someone. I was going to be two people. I was going to be one person at work, and I was going to be the other one at home. So when I work, I was going to be everything that's bad, and when I came home, I was going to be everything that's good. And I like that duality. That, to me, is where I live. It excites me. And so, ever since, I've always, even though Charlie Bronson is a real person in the UK, and he's actually not, because he's a made-up personality at the end of the day. Every film I've made ever since, the protagonist has always been some form of within me that I mirrored onto whatever I was doing. And, you know, then I've been extremely fortunate to work with some fantastic actors that have been able to do that. But that has become the object. And in a way, it's part of what we all do. You're all artists in many ways because you can all create. And if you use yourself as the canvas and you are true with sincerity, you can never go wrong. That's the one thing that can never be taken away from you. You can't even be criticized because it's not about good or bad, but it's the object of extension.